Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Welcome you all again in the virtual learning system of Pakistan International School Taif, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Dear students, as you know that this is Pakistan International School Taif virtual class for class second year students, subject computer science, and today is our 10th lecture. Teacher name Imran Ahmed. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we were discussing list different steps or phases of system development life cycle. Shortly, you can say that SDLC. Over there, different steps are there: defining problem, planning, feasibility, analysis, requirement engineering, design, coding, testing, deployment, maintenance. So already we have defined the defining phase, planning phase, feasibility study, and analysis phase. Today, inshallah, we will move further and we will explain the further phases of SDLC. Keep in mind this diagram, very important this diagram. Shortly, I will explain this one. The output of each phase is the input of another phase. Output of each phase is input to the next phase. Already we have defined the, what do you mean by defining phase of system development life cycle? We will have defining the problem, then planning phase, after this feasibility study, and analysis phase. Today our topic, next topic, what is the purpose of requirement engineering? Explain various steps in detail. Requirement engineering means when you are collecting the requirements of the project from the organization, which steps you will be followed. First of all, we will explain what is requirement engineering. Then we will explain its different parts. Requirement engineering the requirement engineering is the process of determining user expectation from new or modified system. One is new system, means totally you are developing, totally you are discarding the old system and developing a new system. And modified system means already a system is working and little bit change in that system is known as modified system. It is used to identify and communicate the purpose of a software system and the framework in which it will be used. So you are going to develop a project from which company, so they will be used. The requirement engineering consists of the following steps. Number one, requirement gathering. Gathering means collecting. The requirement gathering is usually first part of any software system development process. It involves meetings. Watch over here, requirement gathering, how you will collect the requirements. It involves meetings. Meeting with whom? Meeting with the customers. It is used to analyze the market requirement and the feature that are in demand. So features that are in demand. So those feature you will fulfill, those feature you will fulfill who are already in the market system. These requirements are of two types. Number one, functional requirement. Number two, non-functional requirement. We will explain functional requirement. The functional requirement specifies the software functionality. Functional requirement specifies the software function, how it will be functions. It means that how the software will be function. The developer must build. Developer means project, those who are developing the project, they are known as developers. The developer must build the project according to these requirements. It means that already he will watch in the company, in the market, those things which are already in, so he will study and will develop the project like this to enable the user accomplish their task. So user will be easily fulfill his or her task. These are called the functional requirement. And the non-functional requirements, the non-functional requirements specify the criteria for the judgment of the operations of a system. It describes how well system perform its task. Watch over here. It describes how well system. It means that you are developed a system, a project, and your project will describe your project is performing very well. So these are called the non-functional requirement. One is functional requirement, another one is non-functional requirement. Next, requirements validations. The requirement validation is used to examine the requirement to ensure that they meet the intentions of the stakeholders. Stakeholders means all stakeholders. There are many kinds of stakeholders. We have already studied this topic in the previous lecture. So project managers are the stakeholders, developers, system analysts. So everything is belonging to the system is known as stakeholder. The validation differ from the verification. As verification occurs, requirements have been accepted. So they will accept the requirement. The requirements validation process review the requirements to check they are complete and accurate. Requirement will be complete and accurate. So this one is requirement validation. Validation means checking. Well, the meaning of validation is checking the requirement. Either you have collect the valid requirements for the system or not. Next is requirement management. The requirement management is performed to ensure that software continues to meet the expectation of the user. To meet the expectation of the user. So if you are going to develop a project and it is useless for the user, so no need to develop that project. So it will, if you have developed a project and it fulfill the requirement of a user, so its expectation is fulfilled, then you are going ahead. This process need to gather new requirements. Over there's new requirements that arise from changing expectation, new regulation, or other changes. Already a system is working and they are developing a new system and some kind of new changes they want. So this is, you must requirement and collect that things. Example, in student examination system, the development team will gather the required information. Who will, so they are known as system analyst. In a firm or in a company, software houses, system analyst is the person who is responsible to gather the information from the customer. So in student examination system, let's say our examination system, Pakistan International School Taif examination system, the development team, so they hire a development team. They hire means they give a task or they give a project to any software house. Now that team will come to our school and they will gather the required information from home by interviewing the user who will use that system, who will use that project, and using questionnaires. Using questionnaire means they will make a questions and ask, they will ask the many kind of questions related to the system, or studying the existing documents. If they are unable to give the answer, if our school unable to give, so they will give some kind of files to them, so they can say that you must read from there. So this process is known as requirement analysis. Next phase. What is the purpose of design phase? Explain its different structures. Now you have collect all the information, all the requirements already you have, all the previous you have all the previous steps you have already performed, all the phases, previous phases are complete. Now next step is design phase, very, very important phase, and your whole project depend on this phase. Now customer is free, he give all the requirement. It means that the firm which you are going to be computerized, he give all the requirements, all the things to you. Now you comes to your company and sit with the management team now and the project management team. So programmer will be there, all the personnels, all the stakeholders belonging to your firm is there, and they will see the requirements, and they will check the requirements which you have collected from the company. So you will make the design over there. There are two kinds of design: logical design and physical design. I will explain the logical design. That if first I will make the physical design. Physical design means you will make the tables, files on a computer system or on a chart. So you will link. This is called the physical design. When you completing the making the tables and files, this is called the and logical design. When one table or one file is depend on the other file, is it is known as logical design. We will explain design phase. The design phase is the architectural phase of the system design. Watch over here, architectural phase of system design. The flow of data processing is developed into charts. Watch here, into charts. In this phase, they will make the chart either on computer, not a programming. I am not talking about the programming. Still programming and coding is the next phase, will come later. I'm talking about they will make the charts in, you can say that in Excel they can make, in Word they can make, or at the simple page they can make the different charts and design. It is used to determine the most logical and structure for the data flow and storage. Watch over here, they use a logical design. It means that one chart or one file is depend on the another one. So they will link together. In the previous, in the first year, you have already studied some kind of topic, uh, which was one to one, one to many, many to many. In Access, you already have developed these things. The project team also designed the user interface screen layouts. User interface, the user, that company which you are going to develop, interface, user interface, how they will see your project. They don't know your coding. They just know about the screen. Let's say a Facebook, you are the user of Facebook. Watch over there, there is screen is coming and you are using over there. So they don't know, you don't know about the code of Facebook, but you are knowing only the screen, face screen of layout of the screen. The developer use this interface to write the code for the actual interface. So developer, watch over here, developer means programmers. Those who develop the actual, those who code the program is known as developer or programmer. Use the interface, that interface which you have make the chart for the user interface to write the code. According to that chart, they will make or they will write the code in any programming language according to the need of user. Some languages are user friendly, some languages are system friendly. System means computer based friendly. So they will check which one is easier for them. Okay, Structure of design phase. The design phase typically consists of two different structures as follows. Number one, algorithms. Algorithms is a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. In order to solve a problem, algorithm is step-by-step. Let's say I will give you the simple example of algorithm. A person is asking for an address to you. How you will explain the address? Let's say he said, I want to go to that building. So how you will explain? First, you will say him with your wording. After a few times, he said, I don't understand your wording. Please write this one. When you will write that steps, one step, let's say you will say you first go from there outside, then left side, then so you are writing all of these things. So this is known as the algorithm. An algorithm is step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. It is better to write an algorithm before writing the actual computer program. It is better. Watch here. So before writing the computer program, you must have to write the algorithm. If you have the complete knowledge about the system, then no need, but it is better. The steps given in the algorithms are the specific order. Why they are saying? Because the steps are in specific orders. Order is this, that you will not tell the person you will go in the building, you reach the building. So first of all, you will tell, you will explain him, you go from your home, then left turn, then right turn, then so step by step. The step given in the algorithm are in specific order. These steps must be followed in the same sequence to solve the problem. Same sequence with the steps which you have written in the algorithm during the programming phase, during the coding phase, you will follow those steps. The steps may consist of input process, design, and decision and output. Input, process, decision, and output. These four steps are there in an algorithm. An algorithm is written in simple English language. Watch over here. You can write, if you know that your customer is belonging to Pakistan, then you can write the algorithm in Urdu, but the international language is English. So you must write the algorithm in easy English language to describe the various operations. For example, the term get, read, or input are used for input operation. Let's say you are explaining the algorithm and you are writing the algorithm. In 10th class, you already have studied this topic is in very detail. What is algorithm, what are flowcharts, like this thing. So when you are writing the algorithm, so you must use for the input operation, you can use this kind of words, get, read, or input, or used for input operation. The term print, write, or output. So these three words you can use for displaying the result or used for the output purpose. Example, in student examination system, the following algorithm can be used in the marks and decide the student is pass or fail. Watch over here. This is the short algorithm is written and explaining the passing of a student. Always the first step in any algorithm is start. Keep in mind, remind yourself, 10th class, you have already done this one. Many algorithm you have performed. First chapter was totally about the algorithm and the flowcharts. So whenever you will have to write the algorithm, your first step should be start. Then input marks. Now let's say you give the marks value is 70. Now third step will be, if marks is greater than or equal to 40, check 70. You input the marks is 70. 70 is greater than 40. Condition is true. Then what happened? If the condition is true, then print pass. Then he will be free. Pass. When condition becomes true, then the student will be pass. Else means when if the condition becomes false, let's say you give the marks value 30. So check the condition. 30 is greater than 40? No. When this condition becomes false, control will be automatically transferred, then the print fails. So else is known as otherwise, and before else is known as true block. So this is true and else is known as false. If condition becomes true, then it will print the pause, otherwise it will print the fail. And last step of algorithm is also end, start and end. Flowchart. I think today is enough lecture. Inshallah, we will discuss the next this flowchart in our next lecture. Inshallah, hopefully, we will try to complete this chapter if it is finished, because after the next week there is summer vacation, and inshallah, I hope so. We will meet in our school. So tomorrow we will complete the flowchart and flowchart symbols and rest of the topic. Till take care of yourself. Pray for me. Pray for all Muslims. Pray for whole world. This things is occurring. Anyway, Allah Hafiz.